This is one of those stories, and I mentioned this yesterday, where it brings out a lot of rage, and I gotta be careful what I say on YouTube for obvious reasons. But right now, I see the coverage that comes from corporate media and the liberals. And Morning Joe, I had to say, man, obviously the first thing they went to was, oh, this is because of lack of gun control. We need to take no, 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 no. That is not where I'm going with this shit. Where I'm going with this shit is the reality that our community need to wake up with. Like people will watch, and this is a problem, not even just on this topic, but in many things. People watch like Hollywood. You know what I mean? People watch Family Matters. People actually fall for the American dream propaganda, and then they live their life around this myth of this sitcom like life that people are living. No, this is the harsh reality where we as Black people need to have a serious conversation about community defense. Do not allow these shit libs to convince you to disarm yourself. This is when we need to start arming up. Well, what do you guys think gonna happen? And when I hear liberals talk about this gun control issue, they couldn't sound more serious to me. So CJ, JB, this is what they say. They say stuff like this. If we only have background checks, if only we raise the age from 18 to 21, that's somehow going to stop this old man from shooting this black guy. You guys see how they're not even preparing people? You got Black liberals right now like, yeah, we need to ban guns. We need to ban guns. Let me say this. Let's say liberals get every single gun law they want passed. How does this stop this situation right here? How does that stop a mentally unhinged white supremacist from killing one of us? Mm-hmm. Now, if you are that unhinged, you are not following the law. You guys understand? So you got Black liberals and Black American journals just waiting for liberals and the establishment to ban guns, to ban white supremacy. How about we stop? How about we take control of our own destiny, our own self-determination, meaning we set up community defense. And this is something I'm going to focus on in my Kansas City RBN chapter, teaching people martial arts, arming up. I have Rome teaching that shit. I know people now have gun shooting classes. Don't allow these liberals to convince you that we need to disarm. Let them disarm the police first. Once they disarm the police, once they disarm the military, then we can have the conversation. But we need to look at the harsh reality of these crazy assholes, Andrew Lester, that we need to fucking deal with. And once again, I'm being very careful, guys, because if we have a off the record conversation, CJ, JB, I tell you how I really feel.
A Rumble conversation. That's why we're gonna have a lunch or Rumble next month.
They held this guy.
Some conversations are Rumble only.
Yeah, so the Rumble only conversation is they lucky they held this guy on Danny. He's in custody now, and I ended right there because if this is my kin, anyone I know, bro, like, do we supposed to rely on this fraudulent state? Anyway, I'll stop there. CJ.
Did they catch him? Did they catch him because of this video?
I share my screen. Okay, I would check for updates.
Recent. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would check for updates before we went live, and I wanted to make sure that he was. Here's Andrew Lester, accused of shooting Black teen, is in custody, and this is what pissed me off. And I said this yesterday. Whenever a Black person committed crime, our face is everywhere plastered on the goddamn media. So the instinct of the establishment was to protect this fucking domestic terrorist thug. We're not going to release his identity, try to keep it secret. Now they got him in custody. Good for him, I guess. Good for him.
But they're keeping him safe.
Go ahead, JB. Go ahead.
They're keeping him safe. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Black prisoners are literally being eaten to death by bed bugs. But they want us to believe that they care about the rights of defendants, of the people accused. Get the fuck out of here. They literally beat the shit out of us during arrest, violate our rights. Black women get sexually assaulted under care, but they want us to think they legitimately care about the state of the defendant. No, this is just, I'm gonna be real with you guys, because this is only a real conversation. There's no advanced political analysis here. This is a real ass conversation. This is white America taking care of their own, because they know what the fuck was gonna happen. Because people was protesting and they was in the streets. Anyway, I'm making a lot of this conversation. We gotta have Rumble, because this is I gotta be careful. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm you know, I'm with you. Like this, this would never. This is
Yeah, I didn't think
never
he was gonna push back. CJ.
like
I
this
didn't
would
think-
never. This would never happen.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, this would never happen in the areas where, like, I grew up. Like, no, like the people you see in those courtroom videos. It says defendant attacked by
yeah,
people's family. That's my kinfolk. That's the kind of shit. So, and they absolutely, it's the kind of thing. This is what they do. They go like this. Oh, we don't know if this is a crime. Get away, get away. We don't know if this is a crime yet. So let's go ahead and look at this stuff. Go, get away like that, so that they know that this guy would not have survived 24 hours if they showed up to that house and that man was there. That was all she wrote. He would have had a heart attack just from fear. I mean, if he's fearful of a 16-year-old that looks like this, imagine that crowd that's in the streets, JB. Imagine that crowd that's in the streets and he see them coming. He'll have a heart attack. He will have a heart attack. Go ahead, JB.
CJ, Nick, let me ask you something. How do you think he's going to fare in general population?
They can't put him in there.
By the way, just to let you all know, the second young boy, and I say boy purposefully because we as Black men are constantly aged up when we're boys. We're constantly being told we're men when we're 13, 14 years old, when we're just little boys. Anyway, when he spoke about Sensei Reed, I actually spoke about Sensei Reed and his murder at the hands of this pig 3 months ago. So I already put the link in the chat, but I also spoke about Sensei Reed as well. So if you guys want to, look at that, just go into the playlist.
That was a great stream too. That was a great stream. I watched that one because JB, I can't do these streams alone. Like I had, because these, like Nick and I always talk about this. It's hard for us to do these streams, but you cover these streams great. But I mean, you cover these topics great for the RBN network. And what I wanted to say, when you said we are aged up, that language shows fear. That's fear.
Yes.
Like it's so much fear intertwined into all this racism. It's clearly you are fearful. Clearly you are fearful. And I mean, something like this is an indication. And it also reflects on the damage it does to the white brain, American brain, just these years of indoctrination and racism through media, through everything. And then this person probably rarely encountered a Black person, but the fear that he's been indoctrinated with, everything from education to media to your friend, everything. You've been indoctrinated. Fear, fear, fear. So you see a 16-year-old, and that 16-year-old to you somehow looks like King Kong to you. Yep. Through the racist lens, it looks like King Kong. So go ahead, Nick. It felt like
I'm gonna share this as well, because you guys know as a co-founder of 10 Demands, someone who's extremely critical of our criminal justice system and these fraudulent cops in this police state. Look at this press conference where the KCPD was questioned about why they haven't arrested the man. Why were they treating him like some sort of premium person they're supposed to protect instead of arrest? And Imposter said, we all know if the roles was reversed. Actually, let me read from the beginning. KCPD gives their long-winded BS excuse why they haven't arrested the man who shot Rolf Yarl. Watched him fall, then shot him again and refused to call for medical attention. We all know the roles will reverse, things will be differently. So let's watch a little bit of this here.
On April 13th, just before 10 o'clock p.m., officers were called to a residence where a teen was shot in front of the residence by a homeowner. The teen was transported to a local hospital for his injuries. The homeowner was taken into custody and placed on a 24-hour investigative hold. Detectives and crime scene personnel immediately responded.
Can you pause it right there?
Yeah.
Why does there's a under 18 shot in the face? What is there an investigative hold for? What the fuck does that mean? Because if it was vice versa, they didn't know. The suspect is in custody. This is what he looked like. This is the perp walk.
And so you guys see it all the time,
It's
right?
upsetting. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting.
And that's why it doesn't make sense, because we see these people all the time, these white people that always say there's no racism. You guys, there's no racism exists. You guys always play the race card. Like, how can you believe that this same situation will occur if there was a little white boy that got shot, a little white girl that got shot? If you really believe that, you are far gone. You are being utterly ridiculous if you believe that this would be the same situation if this was a white boy or right. And it's so obvious to people who are people of color. That's why you got black, you have Indians who talk about this, you have Latinos, you have Muslims talking about it. The only people that sit there denying it are white Americans. White Americans are like, I don't know what you're talking about, this institutional racism. We need banned CRT. What the fuck are you talking about? Meanwhile, we see this shit with our bare eyes. And that's why I don't allow them to gaslight me. Let's continue the video.
After consulting with the Clay County Prosecutor's Office, the homeowner was released pending further investigation due to the need to obtain a formal statement from the victim, forensic evidence, and compile additional
So if a black,
information.
so they would do that.
Oh my God, this is just
think of the
bullshit.
most stereotypical, dangerous-looking black person you can think of. Imagine that dangerous black guy shot a 14-year-old white girl. You think this is happening? You think this is how they would handle it? And for one of the people that is white that deny institutional racism, like that, they would just look dumb saying that. That's so ridiculous to believe they would be the same here. This is how they react. So ridiculous. Let's continue this. It's not a long video.
To be presented. A formal statement is planned and forthcoming as the teen's injuries allow. A person can be held up for 24 hours for investigation of a felony, at which time they're required by Missouri law to be charged or released. The vast majority of cases, to include violent crime, involve the suspect being released pending further investigation. In this case, the prosecutor requires more information from investigators that would take more than 24 hours to compile. Throughout the weekend, investigators have worked together.
Bro, they regularly just arrest and detain black people because they look like someone because of facial recognition technology. You guys know that?
Right.
So black people get falsely detained all the time on some bogus technology, but now they're being careful. Who knows who shot them? Who knows if we might be misstepping here? Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Requested information and details. They have been in touch with the prosecutors. As soon as the case is complete, it will be presented to the Clay County prosecutors for their review. We recognize the frustration this can cause in the entire criminal justice process. The women and men of the Kansas City.
You see? Can you pause it? You see? It's the process. What's wrong, guys? This is just the steps. What are you mad about? This is just the regular steps. The problem is, this is what black people complain about and other people who are oppressed. The problem is, it's not the same application. We don't have a problem if you go with these steps when it comes to us. Yep. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, if it's the steps, then this should be the steps when it comes to us. The problem with you, when it's the steps, then it's somehow discretion enters the room. Yep. Well, we're gonna start skipping steps now. This is like murdering black people, but teens, kids. This is one of the topics that gets me so fired up because, like I said, my son's best friend was murdered at 18 by the police. So this is no joke. The people that's affected, let me just tell you, he was the oldest. He had a sibling who had special disabilities that he took care of when his mom had to go to work. That's gone. And she's talking about steps. Stop. It's looking you right in the face. This is what's happening here. White people need to stop acting like they don't see this shit, man.
I was gonna play this video. This is hard to cover, man. It really is. So I'm gonna play video.
And as thoroughly as we can to ensure the criminal justice process continues to advance as quickly as all involved and our community deserve. Detectives have been working over the past several days to compile a detailed case file so they have all the information they need to make the best charting decision on the case moving forward. We want the community to know that we are committed to justice in this case and every case, and work every day to seek that justice for all victims of all crimes. Investigators have been in touch with the family of the victim in this case and updated them on the status of the investigation and the process moving forward. I want everyone to know that I'm listening.
No,
And I
she's
understand
not.
the concern
not.
that we
We don't have to listen the last few seconds here, but they was being called out. Now, apparently, according to this, there's another tweet. Let me see if I can find it. That I saw earlier on this. Let me see, because there's another one that was literally a few hours ago where more people were still like, "What the fuck? Why is he still here?" Here it is. So apparently, I'm gonna show you guys this because I was doing this as I was making sure this is most up to date for you guys. So I found this. This is 45 minutes ago, right? So now they say he's in custody, but people was pissed off about this because now I'm gonna go back to this tab. Look, this was 3 hours ago. This was posted 3 hours ago. Andrew Lester, the white man who attempted to kill 16-year-old Rolf Yarl, is not in police custody. And this is the frustration. You guys really think it will take this fucking long? Otherwise, so apparently this is super new. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Apparently he's in custody now as of the last hour.
That's why I didn't know that, because not before, maybe 2 hours ago, it was the last time I checked, apparently. And it was like, no, he wasn't in custody, and I couldn't believe it. Like, do we think this is like the bionic 80-year-old? Is he like hopping fences and stuff? Like, come on, man. He is not no real fugitive. This dude probably can barely walk. And y'all act like he can just get away. They're letting him get away.
And that's what everyone's saying. Like, this is if you find it, you can find these responses everywhere on the story. It's obvious. It doesn't take much to believe that this had been a black person, regardless of age, and the victim's white. He'd been in custody and denied bail. Like, this is the reality that we're dealing with. And that's the hilarious criticism coming from like right-wing people who usually on tough on crime. I remember I saw Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she was talking about the January 6th people that was in prison. And these people have fucking tablets, laptops, got all these visiting hours. She's like, oh my God, the brutality. And people are like, bro, they got fucking laptops. Have you seen what it's like to be black, denied bail, and in the conditions that's similar to the ones in the prison where that person got ate alive by bed bugs and other insects?
Yeah. So
like, there's two different criminal justice systems, and white America are trying their best to conceal this fact. That's why they banned critical race theory. A large percentage of them are all for that shit because they don't want people to see this. Go ahead, JB. Go ahead.
By the way, one of the reasons why they would want to ban critical race theory is realizing that some of the laws that go up against black people are included when it comes to gun control. CJ, you're in California, right?
Yeah.
When did gun control finally get passed? Because of what?
Ronald Reagan was afraid of the damn Black Panthers. The Black Panthers was not playing. And they showed up to the State House or something, and Ronald Reagan happened to literally be steps away when they happened to show up. Oh, and a few months later, that shit was over. It was like, oh, this can't happen. This can't happen no more. They showed up to the State House. What do you mean? What's the problem? This is legal. These are all legally registered.
Yep. So whenever they talk about gun control, then it always it is in reference to controlling black people. That's really what it's about. And so I'm sorry, but and here's my thing. And a lot of times, and I know a lot of people get upset, when this talks about gun control, things like that. And I know that's deeply important. But when we talk about gun control, we're not just talking about gun control for the people. We're talking about gun control for police. The thing is that the police are the ones who are shooting us in the backs time and time again with impunity, all because they got a badge. So the thing is, if you guys want to talk gun control, let's talk about gun control regarding the police. Because the thing is that they are the ones that are killing us out in these streets. Like, look, have you guys ever seen the face of Sensei Reed? Go ahead and look at my stream. Right? He's a baby. Have you guys ever looked at and Sensei Reed wasn't killed by police, but here's the thing. People like him, like for instance, Tamir Rice was a baby. Tamir Rice was 12 years old, murdered by police. They didn't even give him a chance to respond. And so here's the thing. If you guys want to talk about gun control, talk about the occupying military force that we have that are patrolling our streets day in and day out every single time, which, by the way, most black people have contact with. A majority of white people don't. I'm just being real. Let's be honest.
Will, speaking
That's how it is.
So, and that applies to everything. That's on point when you guys talking about how gun control. It should go come back to the black community, and we have the Restrict Act that's coming out. Who you guys think that's going to affect the most? They definitely going to use the Restrict Act. 100%. All this shit.
But Rome is here.
Hey, what's popping, Rome?
What's up, Rome? We talking about Ralph. You know the shooting is all over the news, man. What say you about this shit? Have you heard that the dude finally got arrested?
Yeah,
he finally got arrested. The 80-year-old guy, the 80-year-old fugitive, Rome is hopping fences somehow to evade the police to get away, but they got him. What say you about this shooting, sir?
I mean, it says a lot. You know, not even just about our neighborhoods and the neighbors that we have around us. It says a lot about the system, saying that he got off basically scot-free until the community said something about it. They would have let that man die in his home as an old man if it wasn't for the community. And shout out to them. But I also, want them to take in consideration he's not the only one. A couple of these neighbors are, I read a couple of reports, he didn't just fall on the floor. He actually got up and looked for help. And a couple of neighbors should be held accountable for that also. But the people who has us back, I want you guys to know that there are many of people like that. Like there are millions of men like that, men and women out there like this, who would shoot your kids with no remorse, won't even think twice, won't even look at you twice to see if you are a threat or you come in peace. Take that in consideration when you're going out there and protesting these people, because it's funny to see. Well, I don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of fucked up to see our people go out there for gun violence without, showing who's the bigger boss. Like, this is things that the Panthers taught us. If our people die from gun violence from the hands of our enemies, then we go out there and we protect our people. So it's just, I think our people really need to focus on, like y'all was just talking about, not getting guns out of the hands of black communities, how to teach black communities how to actually, load and aim their gun, who is their enemies and whatnot, and when to shoot. When is that time for us to get ready? Because our kids can't knock on the wrong door. We can't even drive in our own neighborhoods. Can't even jog in our own neighborhoods. We had reported on that last year, and the police was trying to let them get off.
You can't even lay in your own bed, sleep.
Yeah, can't even lay in your own bed. So when is it our time to shoot? As as black and people of color, when do we get justified? When do our shootings be justified like this? But I'm glad that the police actually got him locked away. But if it wasn't for the community, they wouldn't have did a damn thing about that man. He would have got away scot-free. And I don't know what's gonna happen right now. We can't just say, oh, he's gonna go to jail. They might just let him off on house arrest because of his age. And we have seen that happen many times, especially with crimes that's, I wouldn't say that's worse than this, but it's up there, especially with dealing with children and older white men.